Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Policy Corner Quarantine Edition. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what went down with appropriations subcommittees and what's coming up with executive appropriations this week or next.
So as we mentioned last time, there was a list of proposed cuts of 2%, 5%, and 10% in front of social services last week. That list was approved by the subcommittee. It did move forward with a few minor modifications. Many of the things that we were concerned about, the oversight to long-term care and programs that enable people to remain in the community, as well as some mental health funding. Those things are still in there. We still have concerns, but right now that's kind of in the hands of executive appropriations, and they're going to make a determination on what actually gets cut.
We're also going to be talking to executive appropriations about new funding that they appropriated at the end of last session. You may remember us talking about it quite a bit during previous Policy Corner episodes, and those items are the new limited supports waiver for DSPD and the significant investment we've made in new crisis and community-based mental health services intended to help people returning from the state hospital and other inpatient facilities. Outside of social services, public education and executive offices and criminal justice committee also dealt with a couple items that we are following in public ed. We're disappointed to see that money that serves significant needs in the classroom were targeted, and that school districts are going to be asked to take on even more of that burden than they already do. These services have never been funded to a level that actually meets the need. And in terms of criminal justice, we are concerned to see that they are talking about possibly eliminating some treatment beds in county jails, as well as some community correctional facilities, or better known as halfway houses, that successfully help folks transition back into the community and avoid recidivism.
So, with respect to these, both the base budget cuts, the 2%, 5%, and 10%, as well as the new funding from the previous legislative session, I think from our perspective, executive appropriations should be looking at other revenue sources. There's been a lot of federal funding that has already come in. They should be looking at how they can utilize that to limit some of these cuts. There's potentially going to be more federal funding coming in future legislation. The state wisely has set aside rainy day funds, reserve funds for a scenario just like this. And really, we think that those sources could limit some of the cuts that they're proposed making. Again, there was also legislation passed in a previous special session, $6 million to a special needs scholarship. Again, I think there's funding they could really tap to limit these cuts. Again, a lot of these cuts are really focused on social services, public ed, some of our state's most vulnerable. And so I think we would hope to see fewer cuts and more looking for other revenue sources. For the Policy Corner, I'm Nate Krippus. That's Andrew Riggle. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for future episodes where we can give you some tips and keep you informed about what's going on during this legislative time.
Be happy and healthy, everybody. Bye.